Your mobility and anonymity are a problem for those in control. They plan to lock you into small areas artificially, while tracking and controlling everything. This is the plan of the so-called 15-minute city. They'll end your understanding of what city life is. There will be no cars allowed. You'll be forced to walk or ride a bike everywhere. I highly recommend moving out of the areas already launching 15-minute city pilot programs. New York and Los Angeles have already announced them. Of course, they're going to sell you this idea as an amazing and bright, eco-friendly future. They'll give you some pandemic lockdown logic as to why you cannot travel outside of your sector. Plenty of low-level fools will believe the lie that banning cars is a good thing. Americans have lost their critical thinking skills. For some reason, no one ever asks about the ulterior motives of these propositions. They don't even consider that well-intentioned people often bumble things and produce horrible consequences. They can't do a basic risk-to-reward analysis and realize the danger of giving the city all this power over people. At Davos this year, they openly talked about microchipping people and using that as a vaccine passport. Remember when that was a conspiracy theory? This will be used to limit where you can travel. Gone will be the days when you can casually drive to the other side of a city for a specific restaurant or event. You will need permission to go anywhere. We saw the British very effectively during the pandemic use people's smartphones to limit their area of travel. They weren't allowed outside of their houses in many cases, and had to ask permission for traveling anywhere. They even tracked the time they were gone, as they got time limits. The police were immediately alerted when someone strayed outside their allowed area and were confronted. The effect this is going to have will be hellish on ghetto areas. Even if they get nice stores built for them, poor people tend to wreck and rob establishments until they are ruined. It will actually help rich housing, as the poor will not be able to travel to rob them. Breaking and entry into homes will be down in their area. The Davos group also talked about implementing a digital currency. This isn't going to be Bitcoin. The purpose of it is to track what you buy. They can also not allow you to buy certain items. Maybe they decide you have had too much fast food or weed this week, and your money is literally unable to purchase more. Most importantly, the digital currency is going to tie into the social credit score. If you don't behave, they will take your money away. Or they could just take money out of your account as a fine. Your social credit score will determine everything. It will be affected by your political takes and whatever behaviors are deemed incorrect. You won't be allowed to get certain jobs or live in a safer area if the score is low. This is how they intend to implement complete control over your lives. Don't complain about the awful 15-minute city conditions, or they will lower your score. You'll never be allowed to move up. As I said earlier, Los Angeles and New York said they will be attempting to implement the 15-minute city concept. There really isn't a way to stop them. They have already closed the door on any competition nudging them out of office. Density of population is also a stated goal of these cities. That will naturally mean smaller and less comfortable living spaces. There was a recent outrage in San Diego when the city decided to take out miles of car lanes and replace them with a bike lane. Suddenly, 2 lanes became 1 and caused a major traffic jam. The response of the citizens wasn't joy that they get to ride their bikes, but rather anger. Even in liberal areas, I don't think people want to give up their cars. Congress just passed a law that all new cars will have shut-off features. Police can remotely turn them off when needed. Of course, they will use this to keep you from traveling places you are not allowed to. I think that freedom-loving people are going to have to find a way to break from this system. I don't know how that will manifest itself, but it's the only way. We'll have to find a way to have our own currency and trade systems. It'll likely mean a sacrifice of city life and a return to localized farming. It'll be a struggle for most, but worth the effort. I could never live in such a constricting and controlled environment as they propose.